Appearing in 1987, The Living Daylights was the first new James Bond film for 3 years, beginning with a parachute stunt and car chase that ends with the new James Bond Timothy Dalton falling onto a yacht. They really pulled out all the stops for this one, with a new Bond to get the fans on side. And incidentally, it's also a movie that features a lot of cars, which is what I talk about on this channel. So let's get into it. Incidentally, the driving in this film was coordinated by famous stuntman Remy Julien, who was also responsible for the stunt driving in The Italian Job, among many other movies. The plot of the film concerns Bond rescuing a young cellist who's been moonlighting as a KGB assassin. The story was loosely based on Ian Fleming's short story, as with the previous 3 Bond films, and it was the last one to be directly adapted from the books until Casino Royale. Living Daylights is also notable for being the one with the killer milkman, played by, can't pronounce his name. The DVD Ultimate Edition is a really nice 2-disc set and includes a booklet full of details like the fact that Bond girl Mariam Darbo was not in fact the woman on the poster, but this was in fact LA model Kathy Stangel, who may also be the girl in the intro sequence, although I haven't been able to confirm that. This was also the last Bond film to feature a proper illustrated hand-drawn poster by Brian Boysalf, who was paid £3,000 for the job. It's a great poster and certainly beats the sequel, License to Kill, where it looks like they just did some sort of early Photoshop job. Incidentally, there's also a new Miss Moneypenny in this film, played by the amazingly named Caroline Bliss. The producers didn't want James Bond to be seen to be sleeping around in this movie in light of the AIDS crisis that was in the news in the 1980s, and so Living Daylights is the first film in which James Bond is entirely monogamous, except for the meeting with the girl on the yacht before the title sequence. The main star car in the movie is an Aston Martin Volante V8, and as usual it does get written off, but not before unleashing some rather cool gadgets. There are actually 3 Aston Martins used. There's a convertible that belonged to the boss of Aston Martin at that time, and 2 hardtop cars after the car gets converted for winter use in Austria and the former Soviet Union. There's also an Audi 200, which is nice, and appears in both estate and saloon forms. Product placement with Audi there, and some Mercedes limousines. These were the days when German cars were exclusively referred to by numbers and are not usually having names like Golf, etc. Though the Golf did exist back then. And there are various other communist cars that exist only to crash or get blown up or sink in lakes. There's also a 59. There's also a 1959 Chevy, which is a callback to an earlier James Bond movie. The special features and interviews make the DVD version well worth getting, and although I can't speak for the Blu-ray as I don't have that, I believe you get all the same stuff. I'm not sure about the booklet though. A final shout out must go to the soundtrack by John Barry. This was the last Bond film that he composed the soundtrack for, and the theme for the movie by Aha also features full orchestra. John Barry also appears as a cameo conducting the orchestra in the scene in the movie, which is cool. The theme tune, Living Daylights by Aha, stands out as a great piece of 80s pop music, not just as a piece of soundtrack music. Morton Harkett's lyrics about 100,000 people going about their daily lives, oblivious to being protected while they sleep by secret agents who fade away into the daylight every morning. And now I'm going to fade away into the daylight.